what the Church of Scientology is so afraid of.
This is SPTV.
Hello, everyone out there in the SP Nation. Hope you're having a fantastic. What day is it? Wednesday afternoon and morning. And welcome back to SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. How's your day going, guys?
Wonderful, because we're not in a cult.
Yeah, every day is as you say, Aaron, every day is a good day to not be in a cult, right?
And we are finding out what Scientology is so afraid of. We are finding that out for ourselves.
Apparently it's us.
It's crazy time right now, and it is amazing. You know, okay, so you and Nora, you and
Yes.
Marilyn Honig and Liz Ferris were doing a chat last night. And I was
Yes.
listening to it. And you started out the chat by mentioning another chat that me, you, and
Yes.
Serge had at a hotel restaurant in Malibu. It was
Right.
brunch. It was like,
It was delicious.
2016? Was it
I think
20?
so.
It might have been 2016.
It was
And-
2016 or 2015, one of those.
Mhm.
I'm trying to
Every
remember.
every now and then I remember that brunch. And
Yeah.
the chat that we had, the conversation that we had that day messed me up for days. Like, I don't just want to sound like a sissy, but I was crying for days.
Wow.
Full sissy in effect, right here. Because that was a conversation where for the first time I started the barriers that I had built up with respect to how I thought about our experiences as children. Many of our viewers may not know, because, you know, we haven't done stuff all of us haven't done stuff together in a long time. We've all known each other since we were teenagers
Yeah.
in Clearwater, Florida. Like, we've all known each other for almost 30 years.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. We were
Yeah.
babies. I mean, we were like just ragamuffin babies who thought we were ruling the world, like literally, and learning to be perfect. And we were on top of the world in our little Albertson smocks.
Yeah.
You
Not
know.
everyone's going to get the reference.
I know,
but,
but that yeah.
We were
Okay, now we're
literally
all matching. Now we're all matching. Now we got our
Let's
cat
be honest, bald people look ridiculous with backwards hats on, okay? I need a fitted hat. I look like I have a 5 head and a 6 head right here.
Oh, you
okay.
insane.
Yes. Okay. So I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. It never even occurred to me to think of the abuse, the damage, the trauma it does to a child, to put them in a situation of either needing to be interrogated, or honestly, sometimes even worse, be the one doing the interrogating on
Right.
an adult
right.
of sexual matters. It
Yeah.
never even occurred to me, because
Yeah.
I was still hanging on to this. Hanging on feels like the wrong phrase, but I was still imbued with this idea that we were just always adults. We were just adults in young bodies.
Right.
And I didn't realize I was still holding on to that idea. Just like when I read Steve Hassan's book, Combating Cult Mind Control, I didn't realize I was still holding on to the idea that Scientology was, even if it was a con, somehow something special.
Yeah.
And Steve Hassan's book, I was sobbing listening to Steve Hassan's book, realizing that Scientology is garden variety BS.
Right.
And yes, there's ways in which it's a little different, and it's got some unique mechanisms and brainwashing techniques.
Right.
But overall, it's garden variety BS.
Right.
And I didn't realize how much that would hurt me to have to deal with that it was not special. And so, Serge, I don't want to relive it, because I don't want to, I don't have a lot of sleep, and I tend to get emotional when I'm tired. But like, I was crying for days after we had that chat. And I just thought it might be interesting to remind everyone how long we've known each other, remind everyone how this journey began, remind everyone what the point was before this was a big thing, and just to chat about it. I mean, what do you guys remember of that lunch that we had?
Well, first of all, I just got chills because I'm thinking about us being here on the flip side, and talking about us knowing each other for such a long time. Like your brother Colin and I were very close. We were on parallel bridges. I was the Sea Org kid that was finishing the courses, and he was the org like
The
how you guys
non-Sea Org kid,
outer
yeah.
orgs, you know, and it was his mission as he left, even being that young back then, to take himself to law school and to take these people on. So his awakening came way, way, way before us. Like he found out so many things, Aaron, and what you're just saying, it's like that's got to be so tough because back then there was no one on his side whatsoever. And, you know, for us to be here on this flip side and, you know, taking all these like tiny baby steps to where we are today, and there's so many more to go. But
Yeah.
what I remember is that, you know, I think that Scientology messed up when they trained me as an investigator, because my brain is literally like, it just does it. Like I cannot not see it. I just sees it because my life depended on it. Going back to the interrogations, right? Like my life depended if I missed anything. So I think there was like a bad coping survival mechanism of what I was doing then, since I was interrogating for felonies. And you know, to be able to explain what I was connecting those dots, which were very hard truths to swallow, because what you said is like our brain was protecting us from all the trauma that we weren't able to process as we were experiencing unthinkable abuse, that, you know, our brains were protecting us, making us believe, no, it's normal. No, you really are going to save the world. No, you really are that special. No, this hotel, like you have no idea, like the people that are hand selected to be in the hotel could not be any more wanting to save the world. And it's that narcissistic feeling special, right? And especially when you do it to kids, you know, we see this generation that is standing outside and they're volunteering, right? Like literally volunteering and showing us that you should be standing up for injustice. You should be ridding the world of corruption and shitty stuff. So it's like, we're on the flip side.
Yeah. There's another thing I remember from that brunch. I don't think I'll be able to talk about it without when you mentioned the young
I already
teenage
got
auditors.
my Kleenex out. It's all right.
When you met like Natalie Galbiati.
Yeah.
And that she was known to be this young, I mean, she was probably a little older than us, if I recall. Like I was like 13, 14, 15. Maybe she was 15 or 16. She was very pretty. She was young. She was a highly trained auditor. She was professional auditor at Flag, Sea Org member. They would put her on the cover of magazines. And when you pointed out to me how disgusting it was that adult men could pay extra money to request her as her auditor, that's an example of something that is so obviously disgusting and abusive to someone who's not in the cult. And yet to someone who is in the cult, and, you know, to me, it never even occurred to me that there was even anything remotely weird about that. It just never even occurred to me until you were pointing this out, and you're pointing out the fact that these auditing sessions are occurring in locked hotel rooms where you're not allowed to leave, and you know you're not allowed to leave, and you've got grown men paying extra money to be audited by teenage girls. And in the beginning of an auditing session, we usually don't go into details about how auditing sessions actually occur because it's kind of boring. But in the beginning of an auditing session, you have to get comfortable. And that usually involves undoing your pants, taking off your shoes, unbuttoning buttons. And it's like, when you really think about it, put yourselves in the shoes of a grown male Scientologist who's paying extra money to receive this procedure from a teenage girl, knowing that you're going to be interrogated about any of your deviant sexual thoughts or behaviors. You know damn well this is going to come up. And if you're paying extra money to be interrogated by a teenage girl, you're probably hoping it's going to come up. Anyway, none of these things had even entered my consciousness as red flags until that brunch. I was crying for days. And that was, I think by that time, technically the channel might have already started. It was really just doing interviews.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't really have a vision other than we knew that we wanted a way for people who were born and raised into this thing to tell their own stories without being censored or gatekept or anything like that. We also didn't want people to parade us around like trophies, taking credit for breaking our stories like Tony Ortega does to everyone.
Yeah.
But other than that, there was no greater vision. We had no idea where we were going with any of this. We just thought it was kind of cool that we were able to do it on our own.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, back in the early days, me and Nora were supposed to be starting a channel together, if you remember that.
Yeah,
I do.
from cradle
I
to
do.
slave. I still remember
Yes,
that was such an impactful trailer.
Yeah, and this is where we had creative differences. Like Aaron and I have been like, you know, we have very similar visions, okay, guys, and then we have divergences. Like even with SPTV, I said to Aaron, we should like have a channel program and it should be like all these, and Aaron was like, go fuck yourself, guys. Like it's for whatever anybody wants. Put the thing up, don't put the thing up, say your thing, do it your way. It's everybody come as you are. And I was like, let's get it organized. And he's like, that's very culty, Nora. Don't make it culty. And I was like, oh, right. You're right. That's culty brain turned on.
I have no clear memory of any of
like
this. By
when
the way,
you and I were both discussing what we were wanting to do, it was very similar. And you wanted to do, you know, what you're doing now, this interview style, talking about current events, talking about news. And I was like, okay, we could do news, and we were going to do it like East Coast, West Coast. And we had this kind of idea, but I was hyper focused at the time on the RPF because I had a big beef with the RPF and on the gay kind of aspect. I was still in the closet. I was still in the closet, still very married to my ex-husband at the time. And was not coming out. I was like, I just want to tell people that there are gay people in there and they're being abused, but not me, you know, like I was really in there still in the closet. And Aaron was like, the RPF is like, that's too niche. We got to talk about all the things. And I was like, no. And so I wanted to make this film because there was like films coming out about cults at the time, like very small things. And I thought if I could go around the country and interview ex-RPFers and get their story on tape and make like a film, that would be awesome. And of course, Aaron was right. I mean, you know, I'm not always right that, you know, putting the content out constantly and talking about things constantly is the way the internet works. And you have to keep putting things out there on the daily. And even if you tell the same story 300 times, if you put it out a month later, it's brand new, right? So that was my misunderstanding about the internet. I thought, well, I've already said that. Why am I saying it again? So, you know, I say it publicly. Aaron was right and I was wrong. But we had very similar
pearls.
Well, your pearls. Oh my God. But like, but then I did get mad because as Serge said, like the name of my channel originally was Growing Up Scientology from Cradle to Slave. And then Aaron's like, oh, I'm going to name my channel Growing Up in Scientology. And I was like, bitch, you stole my name. You took it. And he's like, it's totally different. And I'm like, is it? And he's like, but you can still we'll do it together. It was like a whole thing.
I don't remember any of this.
And we had like a minor falling out because Aaron, you know, but you know, this is the difference between men and women.
Now that you
we
mention
remember,
it, I remember
everything. And
I remember the falling out. I just don't remember any of the conversations about it.
This is our relationship. We have like a thing and then we get back together and it's love. And it's like, you know, it's like, because we're like brother and sister. It's like you sat on my side of the car, fuck you. And now we'll change seats. It doesn't matter. It's like, whatever. It's who cares, you know, because we're all doing the right thing. And Aaron has grown his channel and his this movement solo for the last 7 years. Like, thank you so much. Like, honestly, Aaron, thank you so much for putting your face and your name and your neck out here, even before Leah's show dropped, to start talking about your personal experience in Scientology. You sacrificed your personal relationship with your mom, your relationship with your in-laws. This was not a small ask. This was not like, oh, I'll just come on and, you know, say stuff and like nothing's going to happen. Like, this was a huge impact in your life. You lost everyone hundreds of friends, hundreds of connections, business connections. This was not a minor thing. People think it's just like, oh, Erin's making bank on YouTube, like whatever. That didn't happen overnight. There's no such thing as an overnight success, guys. Like, you don't just come on YouTube and start making $10 million. I can tell you, I'm not. But
yeah,
it's you've done this for 7 years. You've done it consistently. You've always been the same exact person, which is an amazing human being. And I love you. And you've always been on the side of truth in this fight and bringing the hard, disgusting truths about our lives, your own life, and Scientology to light, and helping bring other people into that fight and making it safe for us to come out and do that, and giving us a space to also do that. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate, because when we had that lunch, I mean, I had said some things on the internet, and I think I had put more content out at that time. And Serge was just being fabulous, showing up in his leather jacket and his fabulous car. And I would just remember thinking, like, I want to be Serge. Like, I want to be gay and fabulous. And like, I can do that. Like, Serge at that meeting, like, gave me the confidence, like, literally to be like, okay, I'm going to come out. Like, that was my realization from that meeting.
Were you still married to Cameron back
I was
then?
still married to Cameron. And I thought, I saw Serge just so confident, so gay, just so powerful. And I was like, oh my God, I can do it. I can be gay and be happy and and just be real, be me. And like, I was like, and it's like, I'm not going to die. Like, you just get this so ingrained in your mind that it will murder you, to like experience that,
I
like,
remember after you had divorced Cameron and you were starting to, discover your true self, you and I had ramen lunch with each other.
Yes.
And even back then you were telling me, Erin, it's okay to get divorced.
Yes.
Your life isn't going to end. That was 6-7 years ago.
I told you that.
I remember that. And I was like, it's not an option. It's not an option. It's not an option. And you were like, it really is.
And I was like, listen, did it and I'm happy. And like, life goes on. Like, Cameron, my ex-husband, found a girlfriend in 2 weeks when we decided to split up. He's married to that woman. Like, he was like, okay, but I'm going to date somebody. And he was dating before I even like put myself on a dating app. I was like, excuse me, sir. What? Like,
yeah, Erin, courage is contagious. And we've had to see the example of courage to be able to emulate that for ourselves. And somebody has to show that courage, because we did grow up in a place where it wasn't okay to have your First Amendment right. It wasn't okay to have an opinion. It wasn't okay for you to speak from what you saw. And examples like you, that has taken all this time for literally the ex-Scientologist community to be like, oh, that guy is there and that guy is speaking exactly what we know it's going on. So we have to see those examples.
And I do want to say, I never try to pretend that this is something it isn't. Here's what I mean. This is something that was born out of fighting fire with fire and revenge. This cult wants to destroy us and destroy our lives after everything we gave to it. Well, get ready, MFer, because it's coming back at you.
Exactly.
I do not pretend that we're here to save the world, or we're here to save all Scientologists, or we're here to save anyone. We've sort of figured out, as this has progressed, how to turn it into something that actually has the potential to help as many people as possible in whatever way that we can. But I've never sat here and pretended that this was some sort of altruistic effort to save people. No. Like, I do what I do because I love doing it, not because I think people should thank me for doing it. There are some creators, named Chris Shelton, who acts like everyone should just thank him for his service. Thank you, sir, for your service. It's like, no. I do this because I love every second of it. I do it for me. And if I can, we eventually created the foundation so that we can very overtly help people. I try to help other channels because honestly, it's fun to have more people doing it. But even, let's be honest, I'm doing that because I also feel like it helps me to help other people. I don't pretend that this is something it's not. The more people join this fight, the better. And I want people to know that they don't have to act like they're being martyrs. You can make money doing this. I want to help people make money doing this. I want to help TikTokers make money protesting outside orgs.
Yes.
I want Scientologists to know they can make money helping educate the world on what a horrible cult Scientology is. And I'm not pretending like this is something it's not.
No, and it's just exposing the facts. I mean, it just boils down to that. The facts need to get exposed, and we are up against multi-millions of dollars that have been spent to really prop up a false narrative, right? And going back to William E. Mangle, how much money has that man been paid to prop up these fake narratives?
Yeah. His little gold cane, that's not cheap. That's not.
You guys ambushing Scientology's attorney outside of the courtroom yesterday
so much,
was amazing. These people have never had to be held accountable or be confronted for propping up and enabling a human trafficking cult. And that guy was flustered as hell.
He was terrified of you, Serge. Terrified in a good, you know what I mean? Like, because not because he felt for his safety, but he was like, he was not prepared in a lawyerly way for you.
And imagine in a world where we've been being audited, Aaron, in those locked up rooms, being asked disgusting questions where we didn't have anyone to field questions for us or protect us. And, you know, we didn't handcuff him. We didn't do anything. We didn't hold him against his will. We literally went to the street and audited him in the street.
Yes.
That's called an audit, William.
I don't know if you know this.
Robert.
It was a Scientologist who picked that guy up, not even one of his own staff, not even one of his own paralegals. A Scientologist picked that lawyer up.
Is that where they found out from the license plate?
No. Someone recognized him. Let me pull up my let me pull up my chat history. It might take me a second.
And I do, while you're pulling that up, I just want to shout out to all the TikTokers, William Good, Confidence Chris, Jessica. I'm going to leave so many people up because there's so many. I keep following everybody that's out there on my TikTok. If somebody can help me get to 1,000 followers on TikTok, I would love to be able to go live on TikTok as well.
But I'll tell you something about TikTok right now, Nora. TikTok is censoring us. Their streams
keep getting
taken down. So we are actually mostly migrating to YouTube or having it both ways, kind of like Jessica has 2 phones and does both. But TikTok is highly censored and compromised. And I don't know who in the president's
It is owned by China. It's owned by China.
My fault, guys. I misspoke. Matthew Hinks is an attorney that works for that guy. He's not a Scientologist. I take it back. I retract my statement. Please don't sue me.
Confidence Chris just posted that. But yes, I just want to shout out to the TikTokers that are out there every night and the young people showing up every single day and the more people showing up every day that are out there with their phones and their cameras and their poles and their gimbals that are going to all the locations in Hollywood. And now people are in Rome. People are going to all their Scientology orgs locally. I've got people contacting me to like make a Portland trip. We're going to try and get to Portland and to Seattle. I mean, it is like, this is, as they say on The Mandalorian, this is the way. This is the way.
Did you see the Squirrel Squad ambush the middle management Sea Org members at the HGB last night at 1:30 in the morning?
No.
It was incredible. So the HGB guys are supposed to go home at 11 o'clock. This is the middle management guys. And the entire Squirrel Squad, it was William, it was Jessica, it was Chris without a Hellcat, it was Confident Chris, it was some other guys I'm probably forgetting. They were out there at 11 o'clock and the Sea Org members were hidden in the building for an hour and a half to 2 hours until eventually they had no choice but to let them out the doors. And oh my God, pandemonium broke out with these Sea Org members because you had the Sea Org members acting like they owned the sidewalk and trying to prevent the Squirrel Squad from being on the sidewalk. And they're like, don't touch us. Don't touch us. And eventually the Sea Org members knew that, oh my God, if they actually touch someone here, the police are going to show up. And, I'll probably try to
Is this on YouTube? I have to watch this. Oh my God.
It's on all of their streams because they were all there. And William, and actually it was William who was like, this is fair game. This is your own medicine. This is what it's like. This is what you guys do to people. We're going to be here every night. We are never going to stop.
Oh,
it was incredible.
God.
It was incredible.
That is amazing because I don't think, when we were in, I just remember briefings and like staff meetings where we would talk about the wins against SPs and like we go to events and you see all these charts and number of psychs jailed and like all these other bullshit statistics that would like come up about how Scientology is clearing the planet and like we're winning, just hashtag winning everywhere, right? And it pumped you up with this, just like vibrato and ego of just like, yes, we are just doing it, and sometimes we would get like especially at Celebrity Center, we would get like announcements about these flaps that were going on and like how we had to handle certain things and like, very delicate, very intricate things, but how we like, crushed this individual person. We would get like these intimate details of like what we did to crush. And I brought it up yesterday about like there was protests across the street. So James Richardson, who's been a character, keeps popping up at the protests. He was at the Winter Wonderland first and he was at the protest that everybody was at outside of CC. He's still the security chief, Celebrity Center. Hi, James, you're probably watching. He took Jason Mayfield's place after he was busted off. He decided to disperse the protesters by dressing up in a full Ku Klux Klan outfit that he just had and went over into the protest dressed up in the full hood with the face thing and everything and was like, yeah, no, Scientology sucks. Blah, blah, blah. And they were like, oh no, we're not with you. And he's like, yeah, no. And then they just like took off because who wants to be seen protesting with a Ku Klux Klansman, right? And then he bragged about this at the staff meeting about how he dispersed them by dressing up in this Klan outfit. So I say this repeatedly because if someone approaches these protesters in some sort of Hitler garb, Ku Klux Klan outfit, something else, it's going to be James or one of the security guards from one of the bases because this is his tactic. This bomb threat stuff, same thing. This is the stuff that happened from inside Celebrity Center. A disgruntled guy was calling in bomb threats on the original Golden Age of Tech team so that he could get attention and get, stars and like be pumped up. And then the FBI was finally like, the call's coming from inside the house, guys. And then he threatened to kill James and Jason Mayfield with actual guns when he ran away to Arizona. So these are all the same tactics, but William Good is on the money here because A, if there's an actual bomb threat, where are the bomb dogs? B, no, that's not a thumbs up. And then B, where are, and then they keep arresting Chris without a Hellcat for no reason other than he's ethnic. Detaining him, putting him in handcuffs. And then, it's total misuse of resources, just misusing the 911 resources. This is getting ridiculous. Like someone needs to sue LAPD or arrest the people inside the building that are calling in these false 911 calls. Like it's over the top. Because there's actual emergencies
all live
happening.
Streams are literally live streaming, and I guess Scientology doesn't understand what a live stream is. Live streaming, Scientology is you're there with a camera, you're literally saying everything to the camera. Everything you're doing is being video recorded on yourself. So by all means,
speaking of that, there's a standalone video I've been meaning to do for days and days now, and I keeps falling down on the list. So let me mention it right now.
Yeah.
Every member of Congress is currently up for re-election. Every seat in Congress is currently up for grabs. Okay, we are in the height of election season. Every representative in Congress has 1, 2, or 3 field offices for their district. If any of you guys out there in the TikTok world and the YouTube world want to help us with this evolution, this little campaign we're going to be doing, go into and just look it up. What is my congressional representative's nearest field office to me? Go into the field office and stream, record it if you can. You're allowed to record. I want you to record.
Yeah.
Very, very politely go in and say, you would like to know what the representative's position is on holding hearings into Scientology's tax-exempt status.
Right.
We are going to get every person in Congress who's running for re-election on the record as to whether they will support or not support hearings into Scientology's tax-exempt status. We're not asking them to call a hearing. We're asking them if they would support holding hearings. This is something all of you out there in the TikTok world and the YouTube world can help us with. I've got a spreadsheet of everyone in Congress and every district. And if you go to your local representative's field office and you record this footage, send it to me. I'm going to create video compilations of all of this stuff. This is going to be a great little campaign that we can do to get people in Congress on the record on just this one specific issue. Will you support, are you in support of hearings into Scientology's tax exempt status? It's a very simple ask, and I'm going to do standalone videos about this. I'm going to do tons of videos about this, but I just wanted to mention here since I keep forgetting to actually do the video. How fun could this be?
Do a post with that question in all caps so people can like just like have like a script for the question, because that is the perfect question to ask, Aaron. That exact question. And sometimes I'm a visual person, like I can hear you saying it, but then I'll forget the wording and I'll riff on it and then it'll be wrong. So like I have to have it in, like writing in front of me, like on the screen. But yeah, like that's the beautiful, perfect question, because you're gonna get some interesting answers and you'll get them on the record, and we need to post that because it's an important topic, and we need to hold it will start a domino effect with Scientology and all these other little other culty cults, because they need to be held accountable. It's not just Scientology, guys, but we're talking specifically about Scientology because this is our experience, but there are many other cults out there. Like Aaron said, we just got garden variety culty, unfortunately, generic, stupid con man culty, that are doing the same thing and harming people generationally in even more horrific ways, if that's even possible from our perspective, than Scientology did.
And you're
under that
up a
501c3
You're
protection.
setting up a precedent. So that's what we're doing. We're setting up the precedent, and we're giving people actual action steps they can take, right? As they all sit here listening to these horrible, traumatic stories, like, we have to give people, okay, well, what do we do now? What can we do? And it's something simple. So I love that, Aaron, and we will follow your lead on that too. And so we can all do it. And I even thought, we should have iPads outside of these places and start collecting signatures, because so many people come over and find out what's this. It's like, okay, here, sign the petition to get this thing done. So then we can show up with receipts to those people and be like.
And I'll tell you how this came up. William Good in his live streams kept saying, normalize asking your local politicians, even if there's no Scientology in your district or your state or your city or whatever, just normalize asking them, do you support revoking Scientology's tax exempt status? And then someone contacted me who works in a congressional representative's office, and he said, this is an even better idea than you guys might know, than you guys might realize. Because every seat is up for grabs right now. And some of these politicians are going to get smart and realize that there's a groundswell of support for something like this. That this would actually turn them into folk heroes, that someone running for Congress could get nationwide support if they were willing to come out and talk about this issue. I will support hearings into Scientology's tax exemption. We would all support those people. I did a survey on my channel. Would you support a candidate of a different political party if part of their platform was revoking Scientology's tax exempt status? And 75% of the respondents said yes.
Damn.
So
I mean, here's the deal. It's that important.
People themselves to realize that this is a popular issue, and this is a little caper that we can do to like make it apparent to them how popular this issue is.
Yeah, because the thing about it is that people want to say, oh, what about freedom of religion? It's in the Constitution, and you guys are just anti-religious, and like and Serge has said it, I've said it, and I know you've said it, and so I'm going to repeat it again. What we're trying to do with eliminating the 501c3 status of Scientology isn't to deny the religiousness of Scientology. If consenting adults want to grab Dianetics or any one of the hundreds of other gobbledygook books that L. Ron Hubbard wrote, okay, and sit down across from another consenting adult and practice those things in the comfort of their own home, have at it. Good job. But the fact that this is being practiced generationally, enforced on children against their consent and will, and children are then enslaved, sold, into, work like we were by our parents, just like, oh, you don't need an actual education, honey. You go work for the church. That's better for you. Okay. That has to stop, because it's protected in this envelope of, quote, religion that then allows it to run its real estate, shell money scam. It allows it to protect its pedophilia rampancy inside of it, and predators like Danny Masterson, which, guys, breaking news, he's not the only one. Okay.
He's the tip of the iceberg.
He's just one of many. He just happens to be, I hope, high profile one because he's a celebrity. Okay. Collectively amongst the three of us, because we were all involved in the technology of Scientology at some point, we all know a Danny Masterson that's hiding there in Scientology. I hate to break the news. Okay. But that's the truth. Okay.
It was systemic laundering.
Let me ask the chat real quick. Since we got 2,000 people watching right now. If you would be willing to visit one of the local field offices of your congressional representative and record the polite interaction of letting them know you want to know your representative's position on holding hearings into Scientology's tax exemption. Would they support such hearings? And even if they don't know the answer, you would like them to check, and you'll be coming back because you do want an answer. Because if they would support it, you can say, because if my representative would support it, I would like to support them and get support for them. If you'd be willing to do a visit like that and record it, please just say yes in the live chat, because that would give us a little bit of a sense of how much enthusiasm there is for a campaign like this. To me, this sounds like an awful lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's actually effective, right? We want to be effective, and Scientology, be rest assured, we were not going to touch your buildings. We're not going to touch none of y'all. We're literally, you do whatever you do. We're working, we're collecting receipts, we're collecting evidence. Everything is protected under the First Amendment, right? I went to that hearing yesterday. I found out so much information, and it was like a school to listen to that judge talk about what you can say, what you cannot say, and how it's interpreted in a court of law by a judge. So yeah, I love that. Very effective.
Yeah. Okay. What else, guys? What else? I love the fact that we can just jump on here and do these chats whenever we want about whatever we want.
I know. I'm so excited. Also, I'm excited to see you guys. I'm trying to get to LA. The only other thing is I am trying to get to LA soon. I did my Venmo and my PayPal are on my page. If you guys want to, if you're so inclined to donate, you don't have to. I'm trying to raise money to get down there to see my beautiful Serge. And I know Aaron's going down this weekend or something. When are you going down, Aaron?
I'll be there Friday and Saturday.
This Friday and Saturday.
And depending on how it goes, I'll try to head out there whenever you get down there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Liz, Ferris, and Alicia and I are trying to go down at the end of February. Just looking at flights and stuff and trying to get down there. So, trying to make it happen. The only reason I'm not going like this weekend, flights are insane. And also we're having an ice storm here. They have practically closed the airport. It's gross. But also, and then next weekend is my wedding anniversary. So that's a no. I love you guys, but that's important. Family.
Hey, sometimes airfare is weird. If for some reason it's ever cheaper to come to Clearwater and Tampa than it is to come to California, come down here anytime. You guys got a place to stay. That's for sure.
Oh, yay. I know. I haven't seen
sometimes flights are strangely cheap to certain destinations.
I know. Isn't that weird? It's totally weird. Sometimes flying to Iceland is cheaper than going to LA. I don't know. Don't ask me.
Let's check some of these comments real quick. A Scientology rundown. Oh, those outer org training smocks.
Ew. Yes.
Gross. We couldn't go into a store without being asked where things are.
Yeah,
because we look like we work there. So basically, the staff members who were training at Flag had to wear these ridiculous looking smocks so that the whole world would know we were trainees. But they also always thought that we worked at whatever store we happened to be walking into.
Ace Hardware, Albertsons.
Yes. Confident Chris in the chat saw a lot of duckies yesterday hopping on the mothership.
Quack, quack, quack.
Yeah. I was in Chris's chat for about an hour and a half last night. It was amazing. I mean, God, it was so much fun. I was when they finally let the Sea Org members out of the building, I was screaming. I was like, oh my, I was screaming at my phone. I was like, they did it. They waited them out. They did it.
I love it.
The Sea Org members were, I was like, you guys have taken an entire building hostage. I'm like, someone call 911. We have a hostage situation.
Yeah, I would have paid money to see that. That's amazing.
Telperian, fascinating to see Scientologists running and hiding from you. How about turning the tables and cold calling some Scientology hotlines for a survey? That's right, because I keep telling the Scientologists, can they help me with my survey? And then I hit them with the Daniel Masterson question.
Oh man.
It's been wild. Aren't you tempted to create some membership only videos? And if only to know that OSA has to actually pay you to keep an eye on you. So I've actually have not ever felt the urge to do this. I already make money on the videos I do. I just if you have memberships, and I'm not crapping on people who have memberships, it's totally fine. It's just that if I have memberships, right? What is someone going to pay $10 a month for a membership? Well, do a $10 super chat. It's the same thing. What I haven't fully figured out for myself why it makes sense to do memberships. And so that's why I just haven't done it.
I mean, my videos always get demonetized because I talk about children and I don't give an F. We're just here to expose the facts. Whatever happens. That's kind of how I feel like we're approaching it.
Yeah. Okay. Simone Ferran. Hey, Nora, Aaron, and Serge. I hope you're all having a great day.
Yes.
We're all having a great day. Let's see. Molly Dixon says, I'm thinking of auditing the Nashville once it thaws out.
Yes. Do it.
Leaving Scientology says, Aaron, I emailed you overlays for Scientology audit journalists. Okay, I'll check that out. I didn't see anything come in. I'm not sure when you sent it. By the way, Lewis was in the Sea Org with me in Los Angeles. But Nora, I mean, you were at Celebrity Center and you were never at Ash Show. Lewis was actually at Ash Show with me.
Nice.
Okay, Arnie Van Halen. Correct me if I'm wrong. Chris, okay. I should have checked it out. I'm trying not to stir the pot anymore.
I was surprised you put that one up because I read it when it came in and I chuckled a little bit and I was like, uh-oh, hot dog. But all right.
Mike Ofelt runs Hollywood respectfully. Okay. Surrounded by Scientology. Oh, this is my friend Clearwater George. You can find his channel at Surrounded by Scientology. Courage is contagious. That's how I got here. All of your firsthand accounts of all these egregious behaviors sheds light on crimes committed. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, George.
Yeah. Casey Cat, so ready and excited to do a meetup in Kansas City at Scientology with Reese. I've been trying to get her to do it for a while. Can we get above 0 temperatures though?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, Louise.
Spring is around the corner. Don't you worry.
Mike Ofelt runs Hollywood. The three of y'all and those squirrels are fair game. Yeah. Okay, this is an interesting one. As a fellow Aaron, you need a new intro. If having kids in Scientology is frowned upon, are most of them born into it already born, and then the parents donate their kids into it?
Yeah.
Go ahead. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
Well, I think that, you get groomed, right? And you get exposed to it. Some kids got in a little bit later, but the feeder line is always your parents groom you. And, you don't think that your parents are doing something wrong. And in the parents' defense, you could argue that they didn't think that they were doing something wrong, but it's all the red flags that they just literally drive through that is being questioned and is being advocated for, because we would know as having those children that, there were no safety mechanisms for us. And you guys being parents now, it's like, we're talking common sense here. We're not talking about some, extremist belief that we want to put for ourselves. We're talking common sense for kids.
Yeah. I mean, it's the parents who are indoctrinated by the church itself. And then of course you have the schools, right? Which is the second form, the Scientology schools, which is like the second babysitting area to do further indoctrination. But it's the insularity of Scientology as a whole, because once you get in, like if you're just walking in off the street, you have your own group of friends, you have your own family. And the first thing that starts happening is they start cutting you off from all of those people and replacing them, of course, with Scientologists and just Scientology. So that after a year, you're not talking to that old friend group. You're not really talking to your family anymore because they don't understand their PTS. They might be suppressive. You've realized all these things about them that, are non-optimal and all these other ridiculous things. So now your whole life is Scientology. Your friends are all Scientology. You might even be working for a Scientologist now. You might even be renting your house from a Scientologist. Everything in your life becomes Scientology. So by the time, let's say you get married to another Scientologist and you have kids, Of course, they're going to go to a Scientology school because that's the safest place for them. And they're going to get the best education, right? Because it's Scientology. And so then by the time they're 14, they're just an adult in a tiny body. Of course, they can go get to work because all these things now make sense. And like Serge said, it's not, for some parents, they're just like, I don't care. They should probably have never had kids anyway because they weren't just good people. But for some of them, it's just the programming of like, yes, of course you go into the Sea Org, or of course you go on staff because that's, the next best thing, because this child chose you as their parent because they came back to Scientology to continue their journey. We come back, and all this BS. So it's all thing.
Also, it's only in the Sea organization that you're not supposed to, that you can't have kids. Scientologists aren't encouraged to have a lot of kids like other, like, some like Mormons. I think they're encouraged just to have as many kids as possible, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
It's just that Scientology is expensive. And so Scientologists tend not to have a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And if they do, their solution is usually to sign them up for staff or the Sea Org so that the parents don't have to pay for the Scientology.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the intro, though. There's a reason why I don't change the intro. It might get old if you've been a subscriber to my channel for many years, but the first time you saw it, it was probably pretty funny. There's still a couple billion people on YouTube who've never seen a single one of my video and probably never will. And I think the intro is funny every single time. And so honestly, that's why I don't change it. Why would I change it? It's worked so well up until now. I might do a new edit. I might do a new edit of the intro and mix it up with some Jay Quellen and some Timothy and some
and Aaron is still
or whatever.
Scientology. I mean, that's what we were. We were supervisors that would be yelling, screaming, and
Right.
So it's, we got it. We got it.
It's perfect. It's perfect. And I would love one day if you could get actually, the actor to come
Keegan-Michael
on.
Key?
Oh my God.
Or
if
the
Keegan-Mi-
actor. Or the
Yeah,
actor.
no. Yeah. If Keegan-Michael Key could come on and just like do an actual intro for you, I would die. I would die.
Or actually just the actor who plays Aaron.
Right.
Who
Or both of them. If I would die if Keegan-Michael Key did like an actual intro for you.
CO Boof. It might also help to ask California state politicians about amending religious corporation law that allows RTC to not disclose names of directors, etc. That's interesting. That's a little into the weeds, but that is interesting.
I love that.
Shirley Pettit. Love watching you. Keep up the good work. You're all bringing this cult to the forefront, learning loads from you.
Wonderful.
Nice. Okay. Apologies. Some of these I'm going to skip, unfortunately. Let's see. The Fat Hipster. Oh, haven't seen you in a while, Fat Hipster. Have someone dress up as a Sea Org member in a live stream to see if security tries to stop them from talking to you. Only show their body uniform, not face. There's something I'm not getting here.
So they want you to do the live stream and just show like from here down, like the uniform, and see if you can film. I get what you're saying, Fat Hipster. So if you could film them from far away and just show like the back of them or something, and see if you can get like this person to see if security like tries to stop you from talking to somebody dressed up as a Sea Org member. Like if they try to take the quote unquote Sea Org member into the building to protect them. All we have to go is to like a Navy surplus store, guys, and get the uniform. We could do it. We could do it.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That would be some reverse Uno card strategy right there.
They protect people. If we got somebody dressed up in Class A's,
okay. Christina Jufors, is there any Scientology in Sweden? Because I haven't read about it here. Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 orgs in Sweden.
Oslo org, right?
Yeah. No, that's not Sweden. That's Norway.
There's
Malmo.
I'm sorry. There's Malmo. What's the capital of Sweden?
The capital, Stockholm.
Stockholm.
There's an org in Stockholm.
Our 7th grade education is coming in handy.
I know. Like, I forgot. Geography has messed me up now because there's so many new countries and I don't know all of them. I'm going to be honest. All right.
Blackmail says, Serge, I hear that you are from Chihuahua, Mexico. Now I understand why you're so handsome. Go, Serge.
Oh.
Super Stormy Day says, keep the intro.
There's a lot of people upset about that in the chat.
Miss Scorp, Arizona. Even corporate tax has write-offs. Only pay tax on profits. All churches should be taxed anyway. I agree. I mean, I think it should be like corporations where you're taxed on your profits. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're gonna, if there's gonna be allowances for just like businesses, there's, investing in business expansion, capital expenditures, all that stuff is a tax write-off. If churches want to be able to write off the money they actually spend on the programs that benefit the community, great. The profits should be taxed. I think it's ridiculous.
I agree.
Jen Nelson, thank you very much. Clearwater, Erie, PA. Aaron, if you change your intro, I will unsubscribe. Okay. Atkins in Texas. Phone calls, petitions, letters, postcards, office visits, activism. I am in. Hallelujah.
Yay.
Praise Xenu. Praise Xenu.
Hallelujah.
Cool.
Bless.
Look, this has been a lot of fun. Let's do more. Let's do more. A little. What is it called when you do something at the last minute?
Mariska Hargitay.
Mariska Hargitay. Yeah, let's do more chats like this. What is the word if you do something like you just think of it and you do it right away? Spontaneous.
Spontaneous.
Spontaneous. Thank you. Sorry, I grew up in a cult, guys. Sometimes it gets a little literally, Serge.
Literally.
Guys, if you're not subscribed to Nora and Serge, you can find Nora at literally Serge. And
No,
is that your hand?
Serge. That's Serge. I'm not Serge.
Did I say Nora?
Yeah.
Your wires are getting crossed.
I'm so jacked up on caffeine right now. I can't think.
You can find Serge at literally Serge, and I'm at Oh No Nora. There you go.
That makes more sense.
Yeah,
that makes more sense. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
If you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, Oh, Dancing for My Love, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.